Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a session of its kind, long-awaited session, of course, on BTV Kenya, your home live TV. Today, as usual, we've come with a very substantive information that we want to really pass to you through the media channel BTV Kenya. Call me Ochieng Geoffrey Onyango. In the short while, I'm going to introduce my guest over here on my right hand side, who is going to give us total information about agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been out there in the public domain that agriculture is the backbone of the country. Today, we are going to see some of the areas possible on how agriculture is important to the country and the outside countries. Let me get to my friend over here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Prof.
You're welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Thank you.
I was just told about the flight that really brought you to Migori in Lechota airstrip the other day.
Yes, I used Skyward
Okay.
airstrip, yeah, but it was a bit delayed.
Okay.
Yes,
How is Nairobi anyway?
Nairobi is fine.
Yep.
It's only that it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The flood issue.
The flood issues is there as usual when it is raining.
Yep.
Yeah. We thank God for that.
Okay. You're welcome to BTV Kenya.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So maybe Kenyans or anybody who is watching from out there would wish to know exactly who has now paid this great visit today.
Okay. Particularly to start with myself,
Yep.
I'm Wycliffe Aujo,
Yep.
agriculturalist.
Yep.
Yeah, I specialize in agriculture economics and resource management,
Okay.
and I know much in production and agriculture management and marketing in general.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, just as I got to you prior, we are going to see agriculture into detail. Maybe Mr. Aujo, before we continue, somebody would wish to know what exactly agriculture is, because this is a town setup, and maybe what we believe in is getting to the agrovet and buy some or do some business just locally. We get to the market center, we buy some vegetables, but we don't really know what agriculture is. Maybe you get to us and tell us what agriculture is.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your time. Agriculture, in the first place, is an art that
Yep.
is most people don't know. Agriculture is an art and it is a science.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are doing an agriculture, it is an art. An art means you have to do it as an activity.
Okay.
You do it as an exercise. You involve yourself in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then also, if we act in the science part,
Yep.
you must use, that you are dealing with the living things.
Okay.
So you have to know, categorically know the structure and the functionality of the plants or in the animal section.
Okay.
So agriculture is an art of science in production system.
Okay. An art of science in production system.
An art and science.
Okay,
It
an
is
art and
two-
science.
yeah.
Okay, there are two things in common.
Yeah, there are two things in common.
All right, I find it lovely. Now, Mr. Aujo,
Yeah.
basically, somebody may wish to know some of the benefits or the production that you are doing. Let's start from production. In agriculture, what can you tell people about production?
In production, we have two types of production.
Yep.
We have plant production,
Mhm.
that is crop production,
Yep.
and we have livestock production.
Okay.
Now, when we are dealing with livestock production,
Yep.
we have poultry production,
Yeah.
we have dairy production,
Mhm.
we have aquaculture,
Yep.
we have honey,
Yeah.
where we rear bees.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot in animal production. Then when
Okay.
you come in part of crop production,
Mhm.
we have vegetables,
Yep.
we have cash crops,
Mhm.
and we also have other substantial
Okay.
for sustainability like maize,
Okay.
the staple food that most people eat in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe when let's get to crop production here. What are some of the crops that can be produced locally?
Depending on the environment, let me just throw back the question to you again.
Yes.
Which crop in particular?
All right. So crop in general, locally within the country.
Within the country, so we have different regions,
Yep.
and different regions has got specific soils.
Mm-hmm.
So we have soils that have low soil pH
Mm-hmm.
and a high soil pH. Now we have basic and alkaline soils. Now there are some crops that does well in a alkaline soil, and also there are some that works well in acidic soil.
Okay.
Like if we talk of clay soil, it's an acidic soil. So when we talk of kales, we talk of sukuma wiki, we talk of spinach,
Yep.
we talk of most vegetables.
Yep.
They work well in acidic soil. That is mostly like clay soil.
Okay.
Now in a loamy soil, that is a medium and maybe somehow as alkaline soil. Now an alkaline soil accommodates mostly the production of crops like maize. Yeah, maize does well there because they have a lot of calcium and phosphorus in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Auja. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to just see where necessarily we can dip our minds today. Agriculture, Mr. Auja, is always said to be the backbone of the country. From this statement, what can you say?
Now, in Kenya, 70% of the land is arable.
Okay.
Arable means you can plow, you can farm in it and produce something. Now, most of them is in a region where there is no desert.
Yep.
Yeah, so that is where I mean arable. Arable means it is a medium place where you can plant any crop and produce out of it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I want to also believe that through agriculture, everybody is living up there.
Yeah, through agriculture, everybody is living, but most people who do despise agriculture, they thinking that it's a dirty job.
Yep.
And there's one say that says that I once wish that our country doesn't have a white collar jobs.
Yeah.
So that we could be living better, we eat natural foods. Yeah. So in agriculture, there is a lot you can do apart from just doing activity itself.
Okay.
You can remember at first I said agriculture is an art and science.
Okay.
So apart from doing art, you can also use a science thing.
Okay.
After science thing, you can also use a marketing farm. So it's not all about involving the activity on itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it means when we talk about art and science, so some people may want to involve themselves in agriculture on the art side. Others would also wish to get to the scientific part of it. So which one, when we try comparing the two, which one is easy currently? You know, people say out there that nowadays things have gone digital that way. Yep.
Yeah, so you've said the one which is a bit more easier.
Yep.
So all of them are easy depending on somebody's passion. Yeah. So if you are passionate in art, you can't work with the part in marketing.
Okay.
If your passion is in marketing, you can't work with art.
Okay.
But most specifically, an agriculture, if you do is at your employment part section. So you have to categorically know more about activity and the marketing section.
Okay.
Because after producing, you wish to sell your products to give you a profit. Yeah. So you have to learn the art, the science, and the market.
Okay.
Yeah. So when producing, you have to know which crops or which animal production that has got a market demand.
Okay.
You can remember Kenya population increasing day out.
Yep.
So you have to know the market niche where you can hit your target. If you're producing milk, for example, which kind of people are consuming the targeted customers. Like for example, I'm sorry to say this, you can't go to our Muslim brothers and you rear pigs there. That's the market. Your market. Yeah. So you have to know your target customers and where you have to pitch your customers. Yeah, you can't just indulge in a customer without knowing where you have to throw your net in.
Okay. So when we talk about art and science, somebody would wish to know more about art. What does this art entail?
The art means you being creative, thinking critically when indulging in agriculture.
Okay.
Then it involves more in doing it manually.
Practically at the farm?
At the farm level.
Yep.
Now, when we talk of art, I'm talking about feeding the animal.
Yeah.
After feeding the animal, you provide all the supplements of food to give the milk, if you are a dairy farmer. Then after that, you have to know how to milk. how to treat maybe, like if you go to science now, you check of when you have ticks,
Yep.
you know mastitis.
Yeah.
Mastitis is a disease that affects the
The
udder,
yeah.
the udder of a cow.
Yes.
So as a farmer, you have to be in art and science. The science part of it to know the diseases and the kind of drugs you can apply so that your animals are not affected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that is the main
Yeah.
basic of science and art.
Okay.
So art is mostly is a practical thing
Uh-huh.
that mostly give the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during production, when we get to this, is it possible that a farmer can both get to art and science at the same time, or one can do at a time?
Yeah, you can do both of them at once.
Okay.
You can learn about the science.
Mm-hmm.
You need not to call somebody to treat for your cow.
Yep.
Or for example, if you are a maize farmer,
Yep.
you know how much can I apply,
Mm-hmm.
how much phosphorus or let me say
Manure
the
or
fertilizers.
fertilizer,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can apply in a plant so
Mhm.
that you give a production.
Okay.
Remember, we have also production levels of the inputs.
Mhm.
Now, the more you apply,
Mhm.
the more you might destroy.
Okay.
Now, we have some levels of applications.
Yeah.
So some farmers think that if you apply too much fertilizer, you can have too much
I have
production.
this. Oh yes.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
So maybe, for example, in maize,
Mhm.
you have to apply certain amount
Mm-hmm.
at a particular crop,
Yep.
at a particular plant,
Yes.
so that you get a highest yield
Yeah.
of that crop.
Okay.
Now, if you do too much of something, it's always dangerous.
Mhm.
If you do it too much,
Yeah.
then there might be something called succulacy.
Mm-hmm.
The succulacy is, for example, if you apply too much nitrogen in maize,
Mm-hmm.
there will be a lot of greenish part in maize.
Okay. The green pigment.
The green pigment,
Uh-huh.
that is
Chlorophyll.
chlorophyll itself.
Uh-huh.
Now, after that,
Yes.
you doesn't need much production because it will be succulent.
Okay.
It will be much thick.
Mhm.
Now, when it is much thick,
Yeah.
it will be just, it will grow tall, it grows tall,
Mhm.
but there is no production in it.
Okay.
You just have something like, but you won't have the
The
grains.
production is going to be very,
very,
very.
very low.
Yeah.
That is the science part of it. You have to learn on how to apply the inputs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen what agriculture is about, and also seen the other side of art and science. Mr. Aujo, at this particular moment, I would wish that we get to the greenhouse effect. A number of people out there have been wondering what this greenhouse is, because it's really based on from the interior. So we just hear that there's something called a greenhouse, and maybe some involvements in it. What is this greenhouse, for example?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Greenhouse has got two types.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have one for, we can construct a greenhouse using round poles.
Mm-hmm.
The round poles where you use the eucalyptus, you know.
Yeah.
Then we also have the metallic one.
Mm-hmm.
The metallic one is used, you just construct it using the metallic structures.
Yeah.
Now, most farmers fear greenhouse because they prefer using metallic, which is more expensive.
Yeah.
But we also have another substantial one
Yeah.
where you use round poles
Mm-hmm.
and polythene papers.
Yes.
Very big polythene papers.
Mhm.
You can construct it and still have your good production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how does it? How is this greenhouse? After you've talked about the erection of that particular
Structure.
structure,
Yeah.
how is it working? For example, when it has been made there, which areas particularly can it be made?
Greenhouse doesn't have an area or locality so long as the soil is arable.
Okay.
Because anything you are going to apply inside the greenhouse
Mhm.
is controlled.
Okay.
Yeah, the humidity, the temperature, and everything of sort.
Yep.
You have to control the greenhouse.
So it means the
So-
greenhouse can be erected anywhere.
Anywhere, at any
And-
place, so long as the soil itself is arable.
Yep.
Or it's not a must, the soil also be arable.
Yep.
You can also use artificial soil where you can use the pots.
Okay.
The pots you apply manure and some other nutrients
Yep.
needed so that the plant can grow inside the greenhouse.
Okay.
So when constructing a greenhouse,
Yeah.
you need a specialist. Like I also know how to construct a greenhouse using a round pots.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's to the benefit of our listeners. They will
Yeah.
actually have your phone number later on
Yeah.
for those that would wish to have a greenhouse with them.
Yeah.
Now, maybe somebody would wish to know some of the crops that are barely used or used with the greenhouse, for that matter.
Yeah, crops, we have different types of crops.
Yep.
First one is cucumber,
Mhm.
can do very well in greenhouse.
Yeah.
Then we also have the congent,
Mm-hmm.
can do very well in greenhouse.
Yes. Yes.
We have tomatoes,
Mm-hmm.
can do very well in greenhouse.
Yep.
Then we also have capsicum,
Okay.
can do very well in the greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
We have tomato,
Yeah.
can also do well in greenhouse.
Uh-huh.
So those are some of the examples of cash crops
Yep.
you can grow in a greenhouse and give you a very substantial profit for your market.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So in greenhouse, particularly after you shall have decided on which particular crop to use in there or plant within there. How about the management? Is it more of expenditure or how is it?
Once you have constructed the greenhouse, the expenditure itself is just the inputs you will apply in the crops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the inputs are just normal, like how you can use them outside.
Okay.
So the only thing is
Mhm.
the temperature, the weather inside greenhouse is controlled.
Okay.
That really feeds the crop so that it can yield high yields. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So when using greenhouse,
Mhm.
first of all you make sure that there is source of water.
Yeah.
That's why you have to use plumbers to give you drips. Yeah, you can construct some drips inside the greenhouse
Mhm.
so that supply of water is sufficient in the
Sufficient.
greenhouse. Yeah?
Okay.
Then you also have to construct bed if you don't have the pots,
Uh-huh.
if you don't want to use the artificial pots.
Yeah.
You use the beds. You just construct beds
Mhm.
inside there, inside the greenhouse.
Yep.
Then you plant your crops inside there
Yes.
along the beds.
Okay.
So along the beds, you have to categorically space it with aligning itself with the drips,
Okay.
so that when you are watering,
Yeah.
the water you can't have you don't go to waste for water.
Yeah.
You get so water will drip
Just at the
particularly
root of.
at a root of a plant of a
Okay.
crop. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Ujo. It has been up there. People have been wondering on the management that they say it's so involving and needs some close supervision. That is this just an allegation?
Yeah, sure. Greenhouse is a bit complicated.
Yep.
If you don't know how to manage it,
Yeah.
it might be something like foreigner to you. It's
Okay.
very foreign. If it is your first time you want to use it with no experience,
Yeah.
yeah, it has a lot of complication
Mhm.
because you have to know when and how to apply,
The,
maybe to water the crops,
Mhm.
when to apply the drugs.
Mhm.
Maybe if we have thrips in a tomato,
Yeah.
we have some of the pests inside there,
Yeah.
greenhouse.
Mhm.
You know which type of input,
Mhm.
or maybe herbicide.
Yeah.
Herbicide I can apply so that I don't have herbs inside.
Mhm.
Pesticide I can apply so that to control the thrips and other pests inside.
Okay.
So it's a bit demanding,
Okay.
and it requires lots of skill
Mhm.
to manage greenhouse. It's just not like a normal farming outside there.
So does it require some acquisition of skills from a particular organization?
Not really. It's just. But you can do greenhouse management
Okay.
as a diploma level or at a degree level,
Yeah.
or you can just contact a specialist, those who are experienced like me,
Yeah.
so that we take you through the agriculture and the greenhouse management.
Okay.
I'll take you through the construction
Mhm.
and managing the crops inside and how to plant
Mhm.
and maybe how to make beds.
Yep.
Because there's some we have to have from seed bed, from nursery,
Yep.
then we plant them in greenhouse.
Okay.
So there is also specific greenhouses
Mhm.
that serve as a nursery bed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So when you're having such,
Mhm.
you have to know where to apply, because not all crops you can plant directly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there are some that have a specific greenhouse for nursery bed, and
Okay.
there's also others that are good, you can just plant it direct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apart from just being that these crops are used for consumption, it can as well be used for business purposes.
Yeah, that's why we call it agribusiness.
Okay.
In a greenhouse, when you are a farmer, you are venturing in this side of farming.
Mm-hmm.
It is not all just about feeding yourself.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy who said that you only save after feeding yourself.
Yeah.
You can't save when you are hungry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So after feeding yourself, you can also decide to sell.
Okay.
Or you can just categorically specialize on planting crops that you use for sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that the production in there is that it needs some close supervision every time, and that this person who is starting this business should actually get some training. So it means greenhousing cannot just be done by any person before some training is undertaken.
You can do it for the first time under tight supervision with somebody who is more experienced, like the agronomist, who can train you on how to do every level of farming inside there.
Okay.
Because if you are new, you are green from outside, you can't just come in from greenhouse and apply your own things. You have to have skill of managing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hawejo. You find that according to the crops that you just mentioned that are planted within the greenhouse are mostly perishable crops.
Yeah.
When we talk about cucumber, tomatoes, kales, among others, you find that they are so perishable. Now, the production itself, because this is a scientific way of production. If you happen to do some training, you have that skill, and you've done some good planting within time, and everything is done, automatically you'll get that good production. So maybe after getting this good production, how can one access that market?
Okay, market, as I said,
Yeah.
before you plant a crop, you must first of all do a market research.
Okay.
Because if you don't do a market research, you can plant a crop, then you end up going at a loss because you don't have a market for it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you have to do a market research on which kind of crop you have to plant.
Yeah.
After that, then you can carry on with your activity. You plant a crop.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of greenhouse, the crops we have talked about, we have technology nowadays.
Okay.
After production, there's what we call cold rooms. Now, cold rooms are big rooms, just like a hall, but it's a setup whereby it is cooled to a temperature of 0 to negative 10 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
Yeah. So these cold rooms are used in storing the perishable products, like crop products. So all these perishable, you put them in cold rooms so that it acts like a refrigerator. You know that,
okay.
So they don't get perished easily. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And when you talk about business and that you need to do some research before you have these crops produced, what are some of the ways on how you can get to market and you find that that market will favor you within, because these crops are not just planted today and tomorrow, they're already in market.
Sure.
So within the duration of at least, let's say for example tomatoes, for which duration does tomato take before it is harvested?
Tomato normally takes 3.5 months. Yeah, after 3.5 months, it is ready to harvest.
Okay.
But you will harvest it systematically because they don't ripe all together. So you'll have to ripe them. You have to harvest them systematically as you maintain the main plant, the mother plant. So when you are harvesting tomatoes, you have to make sure that you have preserved it very well.
Okay.
And by that time, before you harvest, you have to do a market search.
Okay.
Tomato is a basic, let me say, it's a basic need to most houses. So when you have it, you can do a wholesale within your locality, or you can export it, or you can export it to your nearest city or nearest town. Okay. So that is how you use the traders. But most of the time, we wish farmers don't use brokers in doing their sales. So you use yourself. If you do a market research for yourself and you do your own market from production side to the main market, you get higher profit. Because when you use a middleman or a broker, the broker will also give you a cheaper price so that they gain the profit altogether.
Okay.
Yeah. So
now,
that's
all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Uja. Now, what's the prospect of this business, or say marketing? The prospect, the particular process for this perishable products, maybe.
Once you have a setup where your farm is systematically producing continuously, there is 3 ways where we can get customers. We have referable, where the customer who buys from you refer you to another customer.
Yes.
So that you get a larger network of customers.
Okay.
Another way is using brokers. If you don't have to search for your market, use your broker. But that is for your own risk. If you don't want much profit, you can use a broker. Then a third one is using technology like social media. You can have your own platform where you advertise your farm and the products. Then people buy from online. They just contact you from online. They order, then you just supply from them online.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding just bit in agriculture. There's a discussion that is really favoring you this evening. We would wish to actually get you to a break of a few minutes time, then we shall be back with the same.
Thank you.
Welcome to Blackman Digital Graphics. We offer design, printing and branding services using large format printing, offset and digital printing. Our approach to printing, graphics design and branding is top-notch with quality services including roll-up banners, street banners, teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 379308 or 0736 352224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios on Facebook as well. Blackman Digital Graphics. Quality you can trust.
My name is Shirley Bridget. I have a spoken word entitled My Story, directed by Shamokwal.
My name is Claire Cheryl. I have a poem entitled When I'm Gone, directed by Shamokwale.
Bila milk kwangu hiyo city, hiyo ilichange nilipoingia city. Nilistruggle so hard life kuibalance. Konda kuepa kawapa na balance. Kwenda kukopa kwa mama mboga. Adanisho hata watoto wana sabuni ya kuoga.
When I'm gone, behind I leave a folded note of the battles I ever fought, of the broken dreams I ever lived, of a sigh I never heaved. When I'm gone, under my bed find a box.
Okay, after the commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, we are right back. As usual, call me Ochen Geoffrey Onyango. As of now, just as we had told you prior, it's agriculture. The big story this evening, we are getting to the second segment whereby we want to say on how the government involvement is created within agriculture within the country. Mr. Awuji.
Yes.
Well, this is a segment that quite a number of people would wish to know out there, being that we are members or the citizens of the country. We may try at our level, but actually when the government gets an involvement, then we find the ease to have it done better. What are some of the government involvements in agriculture for that matter?
Okay, thank you very much once again. I'm very happy with the current government because currently they support agriculture.
Yeah.
Because they indulge much on production more than consumption.
Okay.
Now, agriculture is a production site because we have what we call competitive advantage and comparative advantage. Now, competitive advantage is an economic term we use whereby our country can produce more than another neighboring country. Now, what can we produce more than them? That is a competitive advantage. Then we have comparative advantage.
Yep.
The comparative advantage is how much can we produce compared to another country, like our neighbors Uganda.
Yep.
Now, if you see that, we have Kenya is having both the competitive and the comparative advantage.
Yep. Yep.
Now we have, as I said initially, our 70% of our land is arable. Is that we can produce a vast variety of crops, and we can also manage livestock of different portfolio.
Yep.
Yeah. So government subsidiaries also helps youth in involving in agriculture. Now, for example, I'm a youth. I go to SACCOs, like agricultural SACCO setup. I get a loan. Then after getting my loan, that is how my interest of paying this loan will be charged compared to a senior citizen. Being that I'm a youth, that is how I'll get some offers of interest. So if you go to such sections of government, you can have your loan, you make your setup, then you start farming.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the benefit of agriculture for youths. Then in the other part, when you are a youth and you are involved in marketing, maybe in a broad marketing, that is how your tax are being reduced.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't be deducted the excess duty compared to senior citizen.
Okay.
So those are some of the benefits we have when youths are involving in agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot for government subsidiaries and how they favor youths in particular.
Okay. So in this way, mostly find that we youth, after going to school, we attain some level of education, then we just get out there in the name of hustling with papers. We go place papers in different institutions asking for white-collar jobs. Why is it that, or maybe a piece of advice for these youth who always don't want to come back and start maybe a business and through the government subsidies and the loans that they can start it from that level?
The challenge we face with our youths nowadays is that our youths after school, they don't want to learn more.
Yep.
Now, for you to be productive in life, you have to continuously learn.
Yeah.
You learn a skill. Agriculture is an art, and an art that requires a skill for you to move with it.
Yeah.
Now, if you doesn't have a skill on it, it will be very difficult to be productive in this field.
Yeah.
So that is where our youths are lagging behind. So they are just there after completing school. They think that their degrees or their papers can offer them a direct job, which is not easy nowadays. So after school, you have to think twice. You have to learn a skill. A skill like agriculture, it doesn't page. Yeah, it doesn't expire. So once you learn it, you can start by small in a step. Then after that, when you have to fail in first place, because failure is also another side part of success. So you have to fail in first step, then at next time you have to be successful. So you have to learn step by step on how to apply your skills you have verified after schooling.
Okay.
Yeah. Then most of our youths nowadays, they fear being dirty. And you know, agriculture, you have to accept being dirty for you to have some production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that is good. So apart from being that the government can give some money as loan, are there some sources, financial sources that can be accessed from anywhere else?
Yeah, we have different sources of finances because one of them, to start with, you're my friend, you have money, and I want to start a business. I want to start agriculture. Okay, agriculture is a business of its own. So I don't have money, I don't have capital, and you're my friend, you can lend me.
Yeah.
So I can lend you that, I do my production.
Yeah.
After getting a profit from farming, then I return you your money back.
Okay.
Yeah, that is first sources. Or you can use your relatives, maybe apart from a friend, you can use a relative which is having money, they can lend you and start your farming.
Okay.
We also have SACCOs. If you are investing in SACCOs, SACCOs always lend loans 3 times your savings
Yeah.
at a cheaper interest, at a lower interest compared to banks.
Okay.
So you can get loan from banks, from SACCOs, I mean, 3 times your savings. So if you've been saving maybe, let's say 10,000, and you want to start farming, you can get 30,000 from SACCO and start your farming. After that, you can repay your loan.
Okay.
Yeah. Then also we have financial institutions like banks. You can be friendly with your bank. Then they can also lend you once you have something substantial. Yeah, like law books and other things.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are pushing on that bit by bit. Maybe when we are coming to an end on the deal about the greenhouse, what's your last verdict on this before we get to the other segment of the same?
Okay, greenhouse is a good idea and is highly productive.
Yeah.
When somebody referred to it, when maybe you want to have your setup on it and settle on it, is a very good one.
Yeah.
But you have to learn on the ways of management. The management part is the most difficult part.
Yeah.
So once you learn about the management of a certain crop in a greenhouse,
Yeah.
then you are well good.
Okay.
So you have to learn,
Okay.
but I do encourage youth to venture more on greenhouse because there is high productivity, there is high yield in a greenhouse other than planting outside where there is no control environment.
Okay.
Because inside here we have controlled moisture, controlled temperature, controlled sunlight. We call it UV rays. So the UV rays is what uses the chlorophyll to synthesize the production of other products we need from a crop. So that is where we encourage most youth to venture more on greenhouses because there is high yield. But venturing more, you have to venture on getting a skill. You have to venture on trainings. You attend some of the meetings, session, youth meetings, agricultural meetings, and also other teaching from the experienced people so that you can get to know what to do in a greenhouse once you are in.
Okay.
But you can also start small. Most people want to start big.
At once.
So, at once, which is not possible.
Yeah.
So you can start small, like it depends with 3 meters by something when you have a small greenhouse. Now, once you have a production in that greenhouse and you can manage it very well, you'll have to gain a skill and also expand your gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've gotten to the bit of what agriculture production is, particularly on the greenhousing. Today, we would as well wish to actually know a little bit of the same on dairy farming.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Ujo, just from the introduction, what is this dairy farming for that matter in the short while before we proceed?
Yeah, thank you very much. Dairy farming is also advanced because we have a normal, we call them like Frisian.
Yeah.
Let me say Frisian, Asher. Those are, how can we call them? They are exotic.
Yeah.
They're exotic type of breeds. Then we also have non-exotic, whereby they are bred, they are inbreed. There's some inbreeds between exotic and the dual one.
Yeah.
Now, when there is exotic and dual one, there's that's crossbreeding. We also produce another type of breed that is more not that advanced to diseases and infection from the outside environment. Now, to start with the exotic one, like the Frisian, it requires intense management. Yeah, it requires a lot of management because you have to place everything in order because they are more susceptible to diseases.
Okay.
Now you have to have beds for them. You have to have feeds. Yeah. You must have maybe Napier grass or Guatemala, those feeds, the grown one. Then you also have to have a booster for them, the supplements, where you have to buy this the food supplements from the store. So the exotic ones are a bit expensive. If you are a youth and you want to start with that and you don't have money, I prefer you go for the dual one.
Okay.
Yeah, the dual one are a bit cheaper because their management is also cheaper because you can also herd them. You can also go graze
from outside. You tether
come
them.
back, you tether them, something of that kind.
Okay.
But you can still manage them and have a good produce from at the end of the day.
Okay.
Now the effect of all these grazing and other things from the deep one there in a little one where you keep them in one place. Zero grazing, let me say that.
Yeah.
There is zero grazing and the grazing one.
Yeah.
Now the zero grazing, you can control an animal from their comfort zone and know which kind of diseases affects an animal. But with non-zero grazing, where they go outside and herd, they can come with some ticks. First, you can see they can also have some ticks outside there. Then management might be a bit advanced depending on the treatment because you have to treat ticks for them not to be comfortable. Because when an animal is stressed, they can't. If the animal is for milking, you can't have some high yield for milk.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is where there is that challenging decision. But for the starting youth or starting person, you can start with the dual one. Okay. Then you do your proper management with the type of paddocks you have in your farm. You just paddock them according to how you want to graze them, so that your grass or maybe the feed inside, the food inside it cannot get depleted before the time. So you have to maintain the number of animals in your paddocks and the type of feeds you are providing for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very right. So how about production? Now that we've talked about management and the one that is more or less cheaper when we talk about the exotic and the dual ones. Now we have come to know that the dual ones are a little bit cheaper compared to the exotic ones.
Yeah.
Now, as we talk about production, maybe you find that there are some of the ways through which a farmer should base his or her mind and see into the management that later we find some good production. How can this be done?
Come up again.
Talking about good production from either exotic or the dual animals.
All production depends on the management of a farmer.
Okay.
Because even the exotic one, if it doesn't give a good management, they will still have a lower production. Okay. And will still run at a loss. Remember, exotic animals, exotic dairies are very expensive even from buying them. Okay. In the first place, buying them is very expensive. Yeah. Management is also very expensive. So if you doesn't do a good management, it means you are failing for yourself. Okay. But with the dual one, you can just use, you can just buy one, you do a crossbreed, and you do some good management. Okay. If you manage them, then the production of dual might be a little bit higher than exotic one. Okay. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you can drop your point of verdict on the page BTV Kenya to also ask a few questions based on what you may want to know. As we proceed, because of time, maybe Mr. Auja,
we shall only see into poultry in the short while. So, just from the introduction, what's poultry, its management and all that? Sure.
Yeah, okay, poultry is rearing of chicken. Let me see that. So we have two types.
Yep.
We have layers and broilers. So broilers is the chicken that provides us with meat,
Yep.
and layers they provide us with eggs.
Yeah.
So you have to specialize. That's why I said it's an art and science.
Okay.
So before you indulge in this, you have to consult widely on which aspect or in which part you are more conversant with.
Oh yes.
You can't just indulge in farming anyhowly.
Yeah.
You have to consult your market, you have to consult your interest,
Yeah.
and your capability of managing this type of poultry. Now, we as the part of dairy, we also have the two categories of normal. We have kienyeji chicken,
Yep.
and the normal one, the broilers and layers. So kienyeji is also cheap to maintain.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can provide any type of food with a cheaper maintenance to get the yield. But the yield of kienyeji is a bit lower than the broilers one and the layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to categorically know where you want to venture in mostly.
According to how much you've invested.
Yeah, you've invested and how much you have in your pocket.
Oh yes.
Maybe if you've taken a loan and you don't want to go at a loss in the first place, you can venture in kienyeji poultry.
Yeah.
Then have your profits. As you get your profits, you advance to broilers or dairy, depending on your taste and preference for rearing.
Yep.
Yeah, so you have to be categorically on what you want to venture on. So to start with kienyeji, kienyeji is a bit nice.
Okay.
Kienyeji is a bit nice because it is not that susceptible to diseases. Yes. So you have to be on alert.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Hauja. And now, just from there, you find that kienyeji, broilers and layers, they've got those differences. But broilers and layers, they're kind of having the same expenditure on a farm.
No, not really.
Yep.
Not really. The types of food you provide differs from broilers and
The layers.
layers.
Okay.
Remember, in layers, the types, maybe let me say layer mash and the broilers mash. Broilers take much because you have to boost their body.
Okay.
We sell the body, the meat in it. And layers, you have to apply food subsidiaries that can help in the production of eggs.
Yep.
So whatever once you know the content you want in your farm, then it is a bit easy to identify. Now you say that layer is a bit layer and broilers are a bit expensive
compared to the kienyeji.
The kienyeji one. Yeah, both of them, the two are very expensive compared to kienyeji. But if you take the two, broilers and layers, the broilers, rearing broilers is a bit expensive than layers. Yes.
Okay. Most in the market, maybe for the benefit of our viewers from whichever place they come from, the kienyeji also lay eggs, and we have got the layers on this other side. Which ones do people like most, and for what reasons maybe?
Okay, the people like, we have two types of eggs there. We have the one for layers, which is hybrid, let me say hybrid one. Then we also have for kienyeji. So there are those who like kienyeji eggs than hybrid eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, so hybrid eggs has got a lot of chemical configuration in it because of the type of food and the type of medication you do to lay animals, lay chicken, I mean. Then if you come here to kienyeji, there's low maintenance. To mean there will be low chemical used. It's like using manure in production of crop.
Mm-hmm.
So there is organic.
Yeah.
We use most of the time is organic production in kienyeji.
Mm-hmm.
And is a bit more healthier than the layers where you
Okay.
use a lot of chemicals.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah.
so it means the layers and the broilers are just meant there for business purpose, but not
Yeah,
that they're so healthy?
mostly, yeah, sure, for business purposes.
Yeah.
And also kienyeji is also for business purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but for it depends with the farmer now.
Mm-hmm.
Where your market is, your target market.
Yep.
Because when your target market is for layers,
Mhm.
you can't go for kienyeji because layers
Mm-hmm.
can lay 2 eggs in a day,
Yep.
but kienyeji will lay 1 egg in a day,
Mhm.
but consequently can pass a day without laying an egg.
Okay.
So you will have low production of egg if you are rearing your chicken for eggs.
Okay.
It will be a low cost for you because you have used a lot of resources and inputs to get a profit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Thank you so much. As we continue, maybe because of time, generally on agriculture, you append your last verdict.
Okay, depending to youths or maybe whatever we prospect in future, or which part categorically, because we have my verdict for youths, maybe appealing to them,
Yeah.
maybe have one for appealing to government,
Yeah.
maybe in our environment setup, in which region, yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. So let me come again. So I was just in general way. So it means you can address all
Both sides.
those areas in the line.
Okay, so when to start with government, I really appreciate whatever they are doing. We have to continue with that spirit so that we can upheld our youths
Yep.
who are stuck. Maybe they don't have employment out there. They are looking for jobs, not knowing that agriculture is the best job for them.
Yeah.
It's the best employment. Then we also need to venture on value addition.
Yeah.
We just not just produce and sell.
Yeah.
We have a lot to know about agriculture. When I produce a potato and I don't have a market for it,
Yeah.
how can I preserve this potato so that I can sell it in a month's time or 2 months' time? So we have also, as you think out the box, so that we know about the value addition. I have milk,
Yeah.
and milk cannot go past 2 days or a day. So how can I have my milk in the next 2 days or in a week?
Yeah.
So we have to add a value addition on it to produce a yogurt, cheese, any other thing you can sell to a farmer in a different way.
Yeah.
So apart from fresh milk, you can also sell a yogurt or cheese to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is also another good thing. When we are venturing in agriculture, we don't just have to think on one basis. We have to think advanced so that we know that whatever we produce can be preserved and might be used later.
Okay.
Yeah. So also in youths, we have to also to be up to their knowledge. We have to try and gain more knowledge, more skills, and love trainings. Because agriculture you can't produce without trainings.
Yep.
You have to understand that this is an art and science. So you have to understand the science part of it because you are dealing with the life of a crop and life of a livestock.
Oh, yes.
So you have to know which kind of things you need to apply. But this one you will only gain when you have that trainings with the specialists. Yes.
Okay.
So also you have to accept that you must be dirty because there is no dirty money and clean money.
Yes.
So long as you have your money, that is your money.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. and Chief Executive Officer, Agriculture Department. We are proceeding in a short while. Ladies and gentlemen, on the page on BTV Kenya, there are reactions that I've just seen over here. There's Legrand Babachantel, who says, enjoying the show from the United States of America. Thank you so much, Legrand Babachantel. When you look at the second verdict here, is Blackman Studios, Blackie, who says, watching from Kisii, like the show. Thank you. As we are proceeding, Brian Stephen is also watching from Migori Town. It says that the show is so good and fantastic. Brian Steven said, good one, the best of all, of course, on this particular moment. We can as well see this verdict down here, which says, welcome and let's know your view on the ongoing program. Live chance and open. So this one is a appended verdict from the BTV Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, now as we are continuing to the end part of it, maybe your last fundamental introduction and your contact to the people out there.
Okay, I know they know me, or maybe when somebody approached me,
Yep.
they will approach me as a agricultural economist.
Yep.
So I have my own contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can share, or they can have it down the screen.
Okay,
Yeah.
just talk it out.
07
Yep.
57 81 4076. So if any case you have a question about anything concerning agriculture,
Yeah.
we can have a talk together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have had a very fantastic moment with the chief guest today, Wycliffe Ujo, agronomist, who has just taken at least a moment with us today based on agriculture issues. As we are proceeding towards the end of this session, we're calling you upon next day for the same verdict on the same program on agriculture, which is the backbone of the country. So today we shall only say thank you so much for enjoying the show, as we can welcome you to the next one. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
As you get to Nairobi, greet them back there.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Imeisha?
My name is Shirley
Oh,
Bridget.
Simbani
I have a
Madeni.
spoken word entitled My Story, directed by Shamokwal.
My name is Lesherin. I have a poem entitled When I'm Gone, directed by Shamokwale.
Bila milk kwangu hiyo city, hiyo ilichange nilipoingia city. Nilistruggle so hard life kuibalance. Konda kuepa hapa na balance. Kwenda kukopa kwa mama mboga. Ananisho hata watoto wana sabuni ya kuoga.
When I'm gone, behind I leave a folded note of the battles I ever fought, of the broken dreams I ever lived, of a sigh I never heaved. When I'm gone, under my bed find a box.
Welcome to Blackman Digital Graphics. We offer design, printing and branding services using large format printing, offset and digital printing. Our approach to printing, graphics design and branding is top-notch with quality services including roll-up banners, street banners, teardrops, reflective banners, telescope banners, vehicle branding, road signages, mugs, badges, t-shirts, polo shirts, hoodies, pens, letterheads, business cards, envelopes, receipt books, brochures, flyers, posters, calendars, magazines, wedding cards, plastic ID cards, funeral programs, and many more. We also have indoor and outdoor videography, photography, and live streaming services. Visit us at our Migori Market, Onyinjo Bridge, Tiendege Stage offices. Call or WhatsApp us through 0721 37 9308 or 0736 35 2224. Connect with us on YouTube and Facebook at Blackman TV. We are on TikTok as BTV Kenya and also Blackman Studios on Facebook as well. Blackman